Hello, everybody. Welcome. I hope you're doing great. Welcome to the Weekend Collective or the Weekly Collective. Today, we're going to actually light all of the candles together. I had to take Apollo for one last walk. Hopefully, that's enough for him. But I wanted to sometimes it's nice to save the lighting of the candles to do together. So we're going to do this. And by the way, if you do any sort of intuitive work, it's a really good habit to set intentions before you begin. So occasionally, I like to peel back the curtains and let you see what I do ahead of time. And so this is one of those things. So I have 5 candles that I'll be lighting today. So just bear with me as I get started here. And we're gonna, again, set intentions. So as we set the intentions for today, the first one is gonna connect us to Source. And then I usually work with 4 archangels. So for the connection to Source, it can be whatever you normally connect to and consider sort of like your higher power, higher source. So I ask that the divine energy come through today, bring through the highest possible messages, allow only for a clearing and a lightening of this energy as well. Thank you for your protection and for your guidance. I usually work with 4 archangels, Michael, Uriel, Gabriel, Raphael. You can work with whomever or whatever you would like to as I'm doing that, so give me a second. Archangel Michael, please provide protection today, keeping away anything that is not of the highest possible frequency, allowing us again to connect to Source. Archangel Gabriel, allow me to be a clear channel and also bring through the messages necessary today to make it a fantastic reading. Archangel Raphael, allow for healing to take place today, especially since our topic is kind of like healing those broken wings. And let's see, Archangel Uriel, help us see the way, give us clear guidance. I also lean on that particular archangel for help with technology as well. Thank you to all of you and all of the angels and ascended masters for being present today to help us. Gratitude is always an important part of that ritual. All right, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. Apollo is hiding under my chair, so he'll come out later. I just took him on a walk, so again, thanks for giving me a minute or two. You can see the format below for today's reading. I always like to begin with actually a sort of benediction. I do that beforehand, and then we will start with channeled messages. 7-day forecast will follow. That's going to go from Sunday to Sunday. And then we'll, of course, move on to the blessings and blocks, the elemental forecast, where we look at fire, earth, air, and water. I usually like to open it up at the middle part to look at something that you can vote on. So we'll look at overarching trends that I've noticed, and then we can do a viewer and a reader's choice at that point. And then we get into our special topic where we spend most of our time today. And again, today's special topic is healing or mending those broken wings, internal and external healing. So I think you chose a really great topic, and I'm looking forward to it, okay? And then at the very end, we always have a meditation and a final card. So the final card is something that you can think about throughout this reading. If there's a big question or you want a little bit of clarity on something, that's your time to do a silent question. I don't take basically Q&A throughout this reading. I just decide at the end to kind of like tune into your general energy. So I always like to begin with channeled messages. So give me a second here to get this set up, and then I'm going to show it to you. So one moment here, because I'm going to do a sort of picture-in-picture. I'm changing it from having to always use the sort of handwritten cards, and I think you'll enjoy what I'm doing here instead. So one second here, and let me get this started. All right, so there you go. You should be able to see this now if I do the picture-in-picture. Okay, so thank you so much for being patient as I kind of start new things. So what we're looking at today is your spirit totem. Your spirit totem is the Thunderbird, and to me, the Thunderbird is a beautiful, really kind of cool symbolic energy here. So what we want to do is kind of go to the next one here. If we go to the mythology of the Thunderbird, it's a mythological creature, but it is something that, whether I look at myths or something in day-to-day life, it doesn't matter, because a lot of the energy that we look at in the cards is symbolic or based on myths and religions. So let's just talk about how the mythology of this bird is inspiring and connects to you. Basically, it's a storm bringer. It was capable of creating thunder by flapping its wings, and depending on the research that I was looking at, sometimes the lightning could come out of its eyes or its beak. And basically, I would connect this with death and the Tower and the Judgment card. Death because it's creating big shifts. When you think of what a storm can do, it can actually change the landscape of things. Judgment because there are kind of like souls rising from the dead when we look at the Judgment card, and it is about an ascension. And since this particular creature is in the skies, I would associate it with that. And the Tower, of course, because of the thunder and the lightning. If you look at the Tower card, you're going to see that lightning bolt coming down, right? So, as I said, the Thunderbirds rule the skies and heavens and represent a higher calling or an awakening that many of us might be having. This can actually be more of an internal sort of Tower moment than an external Tower moment. So what do I mean by that? It's sort of like an aha moment or an epiphany. And if any of you have had this, it can be sort of like a decision that I can't do this anymore, or I need to focus more on this, or there's no kind of going back once that epiphany has happened. The Tower moment can also be something like really positive, falling in love. It can be something challenging like breaking up. Whatever that Tower moment is for you, typically when the awakening happens, there's less of you can't kind of push it back under the sheets or anything. You have to eventually say, all right, this is how I feel, and this is what I'm going to do about it, okay? So it can happen in your head, it can happen in your heart, it can happen in both, but it usually brings about changes all around you as a result. The Judgment card, as I said earlier, shows souls ascending into heaven, and it represents the choice to forge ahead and move beyond something that you've been clinging on in the past. This can be this life or karmic lessons from the past. Basically, it's your chance to have this fresh start, or for some of you, it could be a second chance to do something that you didn't do before. But Judgment is moving beyond. The block is already gone, so it's a rebirth card, kind of the same sort of energy that you would have with the Phoenix. And in some of the decks that I have, we actually see the Phoenix on the Judgment card. So what do you do this month? Be the source of the change. In some myths, the Thunderbird can also be like a shapeshifter. So you have a chance to rebuild or rethink of a situation. It's malleable. The future is constantly in flux. So why not change it for the better? Use that to your advantage. There was I remember I guess it was Empire, I can't remember, but I think it was Empire Strikes Back, where Yoda's talking to Luke and trying to train him in the ways of the Jedi or whatever, but he's asking about his friends and he wants to go back and save them, but meanwhile he needs to finish up his training, and Yoda's like, I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's kind of moving. There's a lot of different outcomes. And I thought that was kind of cool, and that's very accurate. Whenever you get a reading, whenever you even come to something like this, the reason that we do it is so that you can see where the energy is taking you and decide, do I want to get on that train, or I'm going to take a detour, do something else? It's all about empowerment. You never should feel like, oh my God, this is the only way that it's going to happen. No, this is where it could go. Do you like it or do you not? And that's the kind of question here. The power's with you, and that's what this particular card is saying. Anger, wrath, and emotional control. I would say for many of you, this is going to be the challenge, because the Thunderbird can also be seen like as an instrument of divine energy, an instrument of wrath or aid or protection. But when we kind of pull it into something that relates to our day-to-day lives, I think a lot of us have to be focusing on how our emotions are ruling us. And are they going to be something like a lightning bolt that strikes something down, or can they be something like that replenishing rain that helps things grow? Because the Thunderbird can do a little bit of both. It brings that storm. So avoid emotional outbursts. Much easier said than done. I get it. If you need to, take a deep breath, reschedule, or get some additional help if you're going to have an important conversation. You don't have to do it alone, and if you're going to say things that you think you might regret, then it's better not to say them. It's better to find another way, okay? Context is everything. It's key, it's king, it's essential. So if you need to, ask for additional clarity. If someone is acting strange, if they've said something that is upsetting, if it just doesn't feel right, then what you want to do is dig deeper and figure it out. Play the investigator, even if they don't want you to, because a lot of times that's going to help you react properly. So sometimes people hold things back because they think it's helping and it's not. Sometimes people don't realize the way that they're talking, and there's so many different things could be going on. So in that instance, they're kind of like the Thunderbird causing all this ruckus, but it's a sort of simple solution, and you just have to get to the core of it. Get ahead of the Tower. So the Tower is nothing to be feared, especially if you can reverse it or ride with the energy of it. So you have the potential to get in front of it. Typically the Tower in tarot will come up only when, or typically when, you've avoided something. And then the universe is saying, hey, this doesn't suit you. We've tried to kind of ease you in the right direction. So now we're just going to make it happen, and you're going to have to go with it. So if you can get ahead of that, then you actually get to control the narrative and get to really make sure that you're feeling completely empowered. Change is here to elevate the situation and to break down any blocks that might be existing. I think that was, we have one more slide here. And so the very last one here, excuse me, is to take flight. Whatever your dream is, whatever your desire is, whatever it is you're working on, make a plan of action right now, because the wings flapping in this bird or in this symbol are super indicative of taking flight. So don't let one more day or one more hour go without choosing somehow to kind of make this your main focus. All right, so most of the messages around the Thunderbird definitely connect to power and empowerment, okay? So I think that you're going to be able to really sort of like create some positive traction this month if you've been feeling any stagnation. And I hope that you enjoy that, and I hope that you kind of embrace it as well. All right, let me just take a quick drink of water, and then we're going to move along into your 7-day forecast, okay? The 7-day forecast is, as you would imagine, going to take us from this Sunday to next Sunday. I'm just kind of looking at which deck of cards I'd like to use for today. And I'm probably going to go with my standard on this one, and I let you vote later. I'm going to just use the Afro Goddess for this one because I tend to like the colors and I like the energy around it. So give me a moment here. We're going to take a look at the next 7 days from Sunday to Sunday. Let me just move some of these things to the side for a moment. And we'll zoom out just a little bit so you can see this better. Okay, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we'll do next weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And we just put these here so we can see all of them in their glory. All right, so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We pulled an extra one, so sorry. There we go. I'm just going to keep it out to the side because it still has merit. All right, so let's get started here. All right, so what I'd like to do is talk about today. So today is coming through as Two of Wands. The Two of Wands card is in reverse. The Two of Wands reminds you that the world is your oyster, as kind of illustrated with this one, as long as you continue to focus on your dream. And I reminded you of the importance right now of taking action and remembering what's important. So with this particular card, as long as you continue to do that, you're going to see some positive traction. Two of Wands for me is that sort of lovely gateway card to the High Priestess. She requires us knowing sort of like where we are and what's going on in order for progress to start to take effect and start to happen. If you lose focus, if you lose faith, something that I was talking to the last sign that I read for, I think Virgo, about, that's when the sort of test comes through. Yeah, I was talking about the myth of Eurydice and Orpheus. Orpheus played his magical lyre and was able to go to the underworld and kind of ask for his wife back after she mysteriously died, but from a snake bite. And basically, he lost faith at the last minute. There was a stipulation that he couldn't look behind as she kind of traveled out of the underworld. And because of that, she had to go back. So sometimes if we're really, really close to something and we lose faith in ourselves, other people will lose faith, or that window of opportunity closes. That's the main thing. Even though it's kind of like a tragic myth, it does remind you that faith lost is often hard to reclaim. So with this one, you're actually already kind of like sitting on the opportunity or the energy. And I think it's going to be absolutely essential for you to continue to navigate that. If we look really close, I love how you almost see like these planets or asteroids around her head. It's a halo, but you are also kind of like in that star energy. She's wearing that nice bright color that I'm wearing today too. I thought it would be good for us to have like a power color. I don't always put things from the lower chakra on, but I love bright orange or yellow. So this is saying like really put your power into this as well. Second and third chakra, we want to make sure that you feel it, you express it, and you put that power into your vision as well, because it's stronger and it's going to go further than you think. That's today, and that's going to really set the tone for the rest of this week. And for those of you that are in Australia or another part of the world where it's already tomorrow, you're still going to ride that wave, and you can reclaim some of that. Just kind of reset and think, what is it again that I need to be focusing on? And this will help you. All right, as we look at Monday, we have the Five of Swords, and the Five of Swords is in reverse. So with the Five of Swords card, we always want to be mindful of a simple question. Is it worth it? And it's simple but deceptively so. So I would say for many of you, you need to be sort of thinking about the words that you're saying, the actions that you're kind of putting forth, and if it's worth kind of proving that you're right to someone, because they may be closed down. A lot of times with the Five of Swords, you can't quote unquote win because the person that you're talking to is sometimes they're unhappy. Sometimes they just don't listen. Sometimes they're just closed off. And so it's a futile sort of exercise of communication. So I would say on Monday, if someone's shut down, move on. If you have to absolutely work with them, let's say there's some sort of a gatekeeper, don't get in a sort of war of words, because either they will win or they're going to twist the words and get other people thinking other things. So just reschedule or redirect and get out of that sort of general energy because it's not going in the direction that it needs to, okay? So for you on Monday, I think the really important thing to do would be planning, to clarify if there's any sort of research or data that you can use to support where you're at, what you're thinking about, then that's going to be really important as well. Just give yourself the time and the space to clear your mind, and you're going to benefit from that, okay? So that's what we get with the Five of Swords. You're not going to engage in any unnecessary conversations. You're not going to let people get the better of you. And if they do twist your words, you're going to find a way to kind of like validate, clarify, etc. But lean into the facts more than anything, all right? So Monday could be a little tricky, but I do have faith that the rest of the week is looking pretty good here. Tuesday's another day where I think that if you avoid the energy of Monday, you're actually going to be in an okay space. So Tuesday, we have the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is also in the reverse state. And so for this one, I actually feel like it's a chance for healing. But it's another moment here where if we take it away from arguing, which it can sometimes be, it could simply be saying that this is absolutely the moment in time where if you haven't taken a vacation day or if you haven't taken a rest of some sort, you should. So this can have to do with physical pain. It can also be the final straw with something. So let's say there's been some sort of a habit in your life where you just feel like it keeps happening, it keeps happening. This is where it's basically the straw that breaks the camel's back when we see the Ten of Swords stepping in. You're choosing in that moment to say, I'm done with that. I'm done trying to prove that I'm right. Instead, I'm going to move on to greener pastures, because one thing that kind of gets lost in this particular card is that it's always a new day. This one's much brighter than most. We only see like a little hint of the blood there. And we have this beautiful butterfly in the corner, which is saying it's time for rebirth, for a chance to sort of rise up and see something better, better and brighter. So I want you to elevate the conversation and be the one that's kind of walking that higher path. It's not always easy, but it's very important in this moment in time. So Monday and Tuesday, I would try not to have major negotiations or key communications. I would say focusing on research, getting stuff done, proper self-care. If you have any vacation days saved up and you need to use them, good time to sort of like just take care of yourself, or by all means a sick day. And don't push your body until it does get sick. Not just like COVID, we're just talking about general things where sometimes you can just wear yourself out. And we can't afford that right now because it does open us up more to things that we don't want in this time and space. All right. So to elevate this, you're going to basically fight the right fights, but don't just fight for the sake of fighting. For this one, take care of yourself and avoid, again, unnecessary conflicts on both days, because you still want to remember this beautiful energy here of the Two of Wands, which is saying, hey, I know exactly what I need to be doing. I better get back to that. This stuff could potentially distract you, and it just isn't worth it, right? So not worth it. Okay. The center card is where we literally start to see here on Wednesday, the waves are parting, and that's such a optimistic sort of energy, right? So with this, all of the work you've been doing on Monday and Tuesday starts to pay off. If you do need to have something like an important conversation, it's starting to get better here. I would say Friday seems to be the best day if it has to happen on a work day, but it's absolutely much better here. This is basically we're seeing boundaries and barriers break down. We're starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel, and you're willing and ready to talk about something that's important to you. The choice, if other people want to listen, that's always up to them, right? You can't force an issue, but I do see things starting to go in the right direction. The moon card is also connected to divine feminine energy. It's about your instincts. It's about emotional and energetic downloads that you're getting. So absolutely pay attention to those in this period of time. When we go back to some of the energy around the Thunderbird, don't be afraid of change. This card can also often be associated with fear. So we want to get you out of that energy of fear and into empowerment, all right? So I just love how she's making it's almost like, was it Moses that just made the ocean open up? You can do the same. So if there's been something that seems insurmountable, it's no longer in that sort of insurmountable energy, okay? Moving on to Thursday. Thursday is when you're going to be forced to make a decision. The interesting thing with the Two of Swords is it's never as kind of like tricky as it seems. The two, and oftentimes even I would say like the Nine of Swords, 8, 9 of Swords, a lot of times they have to do with lack of vision in different ways. 9 of Swords is because you're imagining things. 8 of Swords, you actually can't see things or you feel trapped. The Two of Swords may be, there is no black and white, it's sort of gray. So in that gray zone, you're going to have to try to make the best decision possible. So sometimes your boss can't tell you, your friend can't tell you, mom and dad can't tell you. There's got to be sort of this inner compass where you say, okay, I wish it was clear cut, but I'm just going to go in this direction and make the best choices along that path that I can. You can always play the role of interrogator when you have something like this. So if you don't have the necessary information, then dig a little deeper and say, before I move forward, I really need to understand this, this, and this. I need more information. So you can always pull in the information with that kind of an energy or with that kind of a card. So ask a little bit more, but at the end of the day, you're probably not going to have the convenience of someone saying, you should do this. They'll say, well, this is what I know, and I don't know what to tell you. So this is decision time. But by the time we get to Friday, it's actually looking much better. We have the Daughter of Pentacles or the Page of Pentacles in reverse. So this card could be for some of you a chance to do something that feels right for you. I read most reversed court cards in Pentacles as self-work because we're not looking at another person. If it's another person, they could be kind of in their own world. They could be selfish. They could be not available. But when it's you, it's saying, oh, I'm going to do what I feel best about, what I really feel like I can make an impact on. So that's the sort of energy we're getting here is you're going to get what you ask for, or you're going to see some progress here, but you have to ask and you have to take the action. So the week thus far has been kind of challenging, the beginning portion, but we see this nice break happening in the middle of the week. You make a decision and other people react positively to that decision. So the bright spots of the week are right here and right now with the Two of Wands. And then we see, I would say Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday are your best days to do things and to make action happen. Monday and Tuesday, rest. Thursday's fine, you just have to make a decision. All right, let's move along to next weekend and also the bonus card that wanted me to kind of look at it. All right, so as we look at next Saturday, we have the Fool card. The Fool card is great for, of course, beginning something fresh. So if you do make a decision on Friday, you're going to start to get inspiration even on the weekend. So for those of you that may not have a 9-to-5 job, but you're retired or you're a student or you're just kind of taking some time off, this is where we start to see movement in one of your future plans. So I work on the weekends. I don't mind. I'm working today. Like, honestly, a day of the week is a day of the week. I take my weekends in different places. So like Wednesday is a day where I usually regroup. So when the inspiration or the muse comes to you, go with it. And the important thing when we look at the Fool card is not to judge things too much. It's the beginning of a journey. It typically would have a 0 on it. Here we have a little advertisement for the deck, which is Afro Goddess Tarot Kindness, but normally it would be 0. And that 0 means fresh, clean slate. I'm leaving behind what was. It's a reset sort of energy, right? So I think that if you're willing to allow for that reset to happen, then some exciting things will come through. And she has everything she needs here. She has that little satchel, which has the money or the idea or the Ace of Pentacles perhaps, and this the flower that we normally see associated with the mantle and the death card, which is new beginnings. So we see it on the end card and we see it on the beginning card, going back into the rebirth metaphor that I talked about with the Thunderbird. What does all of this mean? Well, as you get into next Sunday, it feels like you're in an elevated mood. Nine of Cups upright, great energy. This is saying that, first of all, you should celebrate the success that you've had. You should look at the positive in any situation. You should just focus on what's possible for you. I think if you do that, you're going to be able to really take what we've seen here as a very positive trend here from Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and continue to pull it into the week ahead. We got a little preview looking at the following week. So that was Sunday. Now we're looking at what you're even edging towards in the next week. And we have the Chariot card. The Chariot card is reversed, and it's a reminder that you can't control everything, but what you can control, really focus on that, right? So this is your moment to make a nice impact, to really make a difference, and to celebrate that, that sort of sense of empowerment and control. The other thing for many of you is once you get that sense of control in your life, you really don't want to let it go, do you? If you've ever had people in your life telling you what to do constantly, and then you finally realize, I don't have to do this anymore. In fact, I might not want to do this anymore. When you finally find your power, you stick with it. And in this particular card, if you look at the center, we see the Ankh and the Thunderbird, by the way. Can you see it? So there's a Thunderbird in the background, and then there's this Ankh, which is a symbol for eternal life in Egyptian mythology. So we're kind of mixing mythologies here, but tarot tends to do that. There's a lot of Egyptian sort of symbols in here, and then there's also Greek symbols like we would see and Nordic symbols for the Hanged Man, for instance. So you're always going to see multiple symbologies in there. But anyway, I feel really good about the energy that you're headed towards. Be careful at the beginning of the week. If you're mindful of yourself and what you say on Monday and Tuesday, everything else seems really manageable. So there you go. That's Sunday to Sunday. So a couple quick notes here, by the way, since I was starting earlier. If you like what you see here and you'd like to keep in touch on social media, just wanted to throw my social media platforms here for you. And the biggest way you can help me and this channel is if you've never subscribed, consider doing that. It is absolutely free. You don't have to pay anything. You're not obligated for anything. And unless you opt into notifications, you're not going to get spammed with anything. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. You can hit like only once per video. You can subscribe only once in a lifetime. But doing both of those things is a way to sort of give back. And I noticed we already got some super chats and super stickers. So big heartfelt thank you to that. That's a way to give once and to show love and support. And I'll say thank you at the very end. For information on my upcoming schedule, you can go to my website as well. Both Dakota and Maria are here today to help you out in case you need any additional sort of information or advice on how to get somewhere. So feel free to lean on them. So just going back into our schedule, we just went through the channeled messages and the 7-day forecast. Now we're going to take a look at the blessings and the blocks. Blessings and blocks are a way for us to embrace something that will really help bring us into that higher energy and avoid a potential pitfall. And since the Thunderbird has a little bit of that kind of combination energy of blessing and block, I definitely want us to pay attention to this. So let me use I'm going to use a different oracle deck here. I'm going to use something that I normally would use with just general readings here. So give me a second here. And we're going to use oracles instead of cards here. So this is like the Wild Unknown, and it's a deck related to hers. You can go to my website and click on the Wild Unknown, and usually this pops up. It's an oracle related to it. Okay, so let's give it a shuffle and see what's coming through. We'll start with the blessing and then go on to the blocks. I'm just going to move these here, and I'll put the blessings and blocks here. Blessing. And the block. Okay. So we kind of have an interesting combination of in tarot what might be the Fool and the 10 of Pentacles here. So we're going to start with your blessing card. We have the Village in reverse, but the Village card is, if I were to sort of ascribe a card in tarot, I think it would be 10 of Pentacles. It could also, yeah, because 10 of Pentacles is friends, family, and coworkers. It's all the support you have around you. It could also be 10 of Cups. It's one of those two tens. And the thing is, some of you may have support that you're pushing away. So this could potentially be a blessing in disguise, or one that you're not kind of ready for. And I would say, don't push it away if you can avoid it. If you tend to be someone that's very private, more of a hermit energy, don't really want to have your business broadcast everywhere. When people care, it doesn't happen all the time. When they care, see if you can do something positive with that, right? And if you need to set some parameters on that, that's fine, but don't push away the love and support because it may not come back. So try to keep an open mind and an open heart, and also give people some credit and some leeway. So if they kind of overreach, this happens a lot with parents, right? Happens a lot sometimes with a friend who means well. Anybody can kind of get in your business. You can just really let them know that you're fine and that you'll ask them when you need some help. But if you push them away too much, then it could get tricky. The cool thing here for some of you is maybe you're not private, maybe you're overwhelmed, and you don't realize all you have to do is ask. So we have the village here waiting and ready to receive, especially if you're the kind of person that never asks for help. The one time you need something, people are more likely to come through than not. And if they don't, it's also kind of an awakening to, hey, why am I always helping them out? You can even remind them, say, listen, I've been there 9 out of 10 times for you. This is one time that I'm asking. I really need your help. If you put it in that perspective, they'll probably help you, but you shouldn't have to say that. I feel like with the village, there's someone around you can tap into. It can also indicate free resources. So if you're feeling overwhelmed and you want to talk to someone, which is, by the way, a sign of strength, and you absolutely should do it, then this is about reaching out to that, whether it's someone to help with financials, to help with emotional support, to help with anything that you're going through. That village can be resources that are kind of begging to be tapped into, okay? The next piece is your block. And we have the Fool card now reversed. So you actually got the Fool upright before when we were looking at, next Saturday, New Beginning. This Fool is in reverse, which is sometimes afraid of taking the journey. So a pilgrim is a fool as well, traveling alone, traveling with whatever in their knapsack, right? But sometimes they can feel like, can I do this on my own? And what if I ask for help? Does that make me, again, weaker or not capable? Absolutely not. Ask as many questions as you can. My background, my undergraduate was in journalism, so it actually suits me really well for what I do for all of you, because I have to ask questions in my head to the cards. I have to question even what I'm looking at. Questioning and curiosity, that's a divine gift. So ask. Again, ask for help and you shall receive. Ask for advice and maybe if you need some leadership advice on which path to take. You're probably not going to get someone to tell you what to do, but you could ask them about their experiences. So part of your journey this month could just be to listen and ask the right questions. In doing so, the path that's best for you will probably be opened up for you as well. Okay? So some beautiful messages overall for all of you. I'm going to go ahead now and stack up all of these cards, and we're going to move along next to the elements. The elemental forecast, as you can see here, is going to be earth, air, water, fire. In this case, I'm going to do fire, earth, air, and water. And I'm going to pull one card for each and kind of give us a taste of what's possible. Okay? So we'll go ahead and use the Light Seers deck for this one. And let's go ahead and see what's coming through. So give me a moment to set them all up, and then we're going to break down each sign individually. Again, starting with fire. Just let me lay them out on the table first, though. Fire, earth, air, and water. Okay, so let's take a look at these. We're going to begin with fire signs. So we actually have here, and I'll put it on here so you can remember it. So this is going to be Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. We have the Ace of Wands here in reverse. And for many of you, there is an encouragement in this moment in time to simply trust. Trust in what you see, trust in what you know, and that sort of call to action that I gave you with respect to the higher idea or the higher calling. You want to make sure that you're not losing traction in this moment in time. So don't overthink. Just begin that exploration. Keep an open mind too.
fire is a fantastic sign when you're already kind of moving. But sometimes at the beginning, if you start to get into that energy of what-ifing or second guessing, the spark can't quite take flight or take flame. So you want to kind of fan the flame, see the possibilities. If you have anyone in your life that tends to be a naysayer or tends to deflate your energy, then what you want to be focusing on over the next 7 days is to really get yourself away from that kind of energy and let this fire go where it needs to. So I love that you're represented as exactly what looks just like that little flame on the side. So I see one good opportunity, idea, or energetic point that can really, take flight. So I want you to focus, feel it, and push that energy forward. You may have a kind of difficult time telling people what you want, so show them what you want or show them an example of this. Demonstrative energy is really, really good for this. So you might want to make a picture or a sketch or presentation or something to kind of show it in action. And I think that's going to help people understand. All right. But sometimes, because you're intuitive, because you're creative, you can see it before they can. And I know I believe I talked to Virgo about this as well, but that's part of manifestation. Sometimes you're the first. So just keep the vision there and sort of keeping true to that energy where the world was your oyster of the Two of Wands, really what we want to be focusing on today. That's absolutely in alignment with that. So that Ace of Wands will become the Two of Wands. That Two of Wands becomes the Three of Wands. All of the wands are pretty fun to kind of read through because most of them are good. It's not like swords where there's tricky sort of stuff. So you're onto something good. So keep it up, okay? So wait to begin the week, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. I feel pretty good about where you're headed. All right, let's move on to our earth signs. This is going to be Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. For you, there is an awakening here. We've got the Eight of Swords, but it's one of my favorite illustrations of the Eight of Swords. And I'll take the image off for a second just so you can see it. So we see a woman here or a person looking in at their reflection. And what they realize is, or what we realize as this sort of omniscient view, is that she is not shackled, but she's limiting herself. She doesn't see herself the way we do. So your message, fellow earth signs out there, is to really focus on believing in the possibility. So if there's someone out there, this is kind of the reverse of what I just told all of fire. So for some of you, there could be someone who taps you for an opportunity. Maybe it's your boss, maybe it's a teacher. Maybe someone said, have you ever thought about doing this? And your initial thought in your head is, but ... I can't do it because of this. So I don't want you to put any ands, ifs, or buts on this. I want you instead to think, I hadn't thought about this. Tell me more. So ask, instead of sort of like judging it, ask for information. And start to imagine yourself, if you feel like you're this, start to imagine yourself like you're this. Well, what if it's going to be okay? Usually, Eight of Swords is just fear-based. And I've talked about the canary in the sort of like, not in the mind, but like a bird in a cage. The door is open, but the bird is trained to stay in that cage. So for you, you have a moment to step out of it. Now, your cage is your mind right now. So I want you to free your thoughts, elevate your thoughts, imagine possibilities, and see where those possibilities take you. Don't limit yourself. Let the universe step in and show you what your true limits are. But until given that sort of display, divine display, then it's not your job to judge, rather. So don't just allow things to start to manifest and start to happen. Okay. It's an awakening. It's for some of you, this could be like, I surprised myself. So you have the capacity to surprise yourself and others. I didn't know you had that in you, is what they'll say. So really embrace that. Okay. So let's take a look now, and we're going to move on. By the way, anyone asking what signs, they're right here. It literally says it right there. So this is for Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. All right, we're going to move along now to air. Air is going to be Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. With each one of these elements, you can use it for any aspect of your chart, okay? This is the only portion of the forecast that's going to be element specific. Everything else is for everyone that's present. All right, Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles in reverse is what's coming through for my air signs. I'll actually take this. It feels like the past few weeks, there's been some challenging cards. You have a really good one for the week ahead. And this one is so powerful. I love this particular Queen of Pentacles. Look at her. She is in control. She is very comfortable asking what she wants. She's got her antenna connected to the divine. And she's basically saying, I don't need to have validation. I don't need your permission. I am ready to step forward. Are you ready for what I have to offer? There's a lot of self-confidence here, okay? And because I'm looking at you, and as I said earlier, I think it's okay for a lot of these Pentacles cards to be reversed when we're focusing on development. So you want to really step out there and own, believe, and ask for what it is that you need. And you have this capacity to also attract people because of this divine feminine energy, which is productive, which is inviting, which is like the Midas touch. So listen, whatever all of you air signs are doing this week, I feel very good about it. I think you're going to start to see some progress. Don't forget to take care of yourself. She's also the mother. The other mother card would be the Empress, but this one in a lot of decks you'll actually see with a pregnant belly. And it's just a symbol of the ability to nurture, to birth, to create. So do a little bit of that in your life and make sure that you're feeling it for yourself. There could be some strong energy around the women in your life or the divine feminine energy in your life. So especially mothers, sisters, aunts, that kind of energy. But for the rest of you, it's just taking care of yourself. And if you've been needing the help or the resource, we saw all of these cards about like the village. Yeah, the village energy. You can go and reach out to the village, especially my air signs, because they're going to want to listen to what you have to offer. Okay. But she epitomizes self-confidence, and she is not looking for permission. To do what you need to do, you don't need permission. It's nice to have, but you don't need it, right? So there you go. That's my mini message there for the air signs. All right, let's move along now to water. Water is going to be Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, and it's time to take a step forward here. So we have the wake-up call, and look at that lovely little heart there that's been mended. Ostensibly, you can imagine that this one is from the Three of Swords. She's mended it. It almost looks like she's ready to go fishing and put that heart back out there in the world. Now, we see this nesting energy that many of you under the sign of water here, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces might, or the element, I should say, of water, might be going through. So first thing here is to take care of yourself and to get enough sleep. I feel like I've been talking about this a lot lately to everybody. So take some time to rest and to regroup. And nobody is like there's a commercial in the States here with like the Energizer Bunny where it just keeps going and going and going. Even that runs out, right? So what we don't want is to have your internal battery run out so that you hit one of those sort of tower or Thunderbird moments that we were talking about earlier. Allow yourself to rest and regroup. You're going to be much clearer headed if you do this now, rather than trying to pick up the pieces because you were tired and you said or did something sloppy or said something that you wish you could take back, because we can't put those words back in the box. So your rest and your sleep is going to be important. It feels like you're a little bit maybe pushing yourself too much. Four of Swords in reverse can also be very, very positive, and let me tell you about that. It can indicate that there's so much going on that you're not going to have time to rest on your laurels or relax. So if you've been waiting for some sort of a breakthrough moment, this is rest. This is the opposite of rest. So it can just show that, things are just going to go, 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 go. It's one of those crazy weeks where you blink your eyes and we're back here at the collective, okay? So take care of yourself during this week. A lot's happening. A lot is possible. If we're just to kind of look at all of them, because I like to do that sometimes and see what the overarching energy for everyone is, we see ideation, we see identification or like this realization of true self. We see confidence playing a really important role, and we see things picking up. So we all have all of these sort of elements around us. It's either in us or around people around us. So pretty good overall. There is no tower, there is no death card, there is no judgment card here. The only thing that's tricky is not limiting yourself with belief. Okay, so there you go. Those are the elements for the week ahead. All right, so after the elements, I usually give you a chance to do a quick little vote here. So we're going to move on to viewer's choice. So give me a moment here. And as I kind of look at viewer's choice, I'm going to throw out a couple options for you to vote on. Let's see what some of the best things are for you to kind of get some clarity on. So, by the way, you'll be able to look at this if you are on a PC or on a mobile device. okay? Otherwise, on televisions or consoles, you won't be able to see it. So let me put on my glasses. We're going to do the viewer's choice. Okay. You know, I really love the confidence energy there of the Queen of Pentacles. So we're going to look at confidence and self, we'll just say like self-confidence and conviction. There we go. That's a nice combination. As I was looking at the early part of the week, even though the cards aren't on the table, the other thing that I think would be nice to look at is how to navigate those difficult conversations. So navigating difficult conversations. And then I think the last thing is self-care, because that seemed to come through quite a bit. So I'll give you a few moments to vote on all of these. And while you're voting, I'm going to do a reader's choice. So give me a moment here to just take a look at what's going on with all of you. And then once I've seen the vote and we have enough sort of people that are casting their vote, we'll move on from that. All right, so I'm going to start with reader's choice. For the reader's choice, I'm going to ask a question that I like to do sometimes in my impromptus, which is, what is the question you're afraid to ask? What is the thing that you need to know but you're not asking me, or that I haven't seen so far? So the question that you're afraid to ask, the thing that you're avoiding, the moon card where we saw the waves parting, what is it you need to do to get to that aha moment? Aha, we have to deal with things that don't make us happy. So the Three of Swords, choosing, and this is a big part of kind of like mending those broken wings, choosing to not sit in that energy of unhappiness. So if there's something in your life that is causing the unhappiness, this could be for some of you, your job. This could be where you're living. Maybe your neighbors are driving you crazy. This could be the partner that you're spending time with. There's something where it's almost like you've outgrown it. And you need to kind of shed that facade, crack through that shell and spread your wings. So whatever it is that is no longer feeding your heart and soul, you have to take some action on that. The Three of Swords reverse is basically repair, recovery, and renewal here. So you have to choose to look at it though. So if you're asking me, should I move on? I won't tell you, but I will say that it feels like you're finished with whatever that was. You always have the power, and I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I don't see why you would stay with the Three of Swords reversed. Some sort of path in your life has come, and it feels like it's ready to go, and it's important. You want to prioritize your heart right now. Are you happy? It's a simple question, and if you sort of hesitate on that question, applying it to whatever's important, then that's more telling to me than whatever you say after that. So if there's hesitation, choose happiness and choose what you need to do to be happy. Let's take a look at the poll here and see. We have a very clear winner here. It's going to be self-confidence and conviction. It's 55%. So I'm just going to go ahead and move along to that one right now because there's no way that the other ones will take the lead on that. So yes, self-confidence and conviction. What a great, I'm so glad you chose that one. So let's take a look at self-confidence and conviction and see what the messages are. What can you do to be more self-confident? What can you do to show more conviction? It all has to do with your words here. So we're going to look at this here. So the Page of Swords, it's the most gentle of all of the Swords court cards here. So it begins with a simple but concise and decisive statement. So for some of you, if someone asks a question, it's simply saying yes or no. Like, are you interested? One word can move mountains, or it can shut a door forever. So think about really what you want to do. Yes or no. Then the other thing is here, you can always go back to the drawing board or to the sort of like imagining state and think about something new. This is a very sort of good card if you're a writer, or if you're in construction, or if you do a lot of hands-on work, because you're going to be able to really start to see some action. You can talk, you can talk the talk and walk the walk, and you're going to be asked to do a little bit of both. So for those of you that feel like you're juggling a lot, you are, but you're good here. The only thing that I wish for you is that this was a knight or a queen card, because a page is good, but it does sometimes find itself in the middle. So I want you to, I'm not going to tell you what to do again, but I'm encouraging you to kind of step it up a little bit and see if you can't ask for something, delegate a little bit, Speak up when you think someone doesn't expect you to speak up, because this is a nice beginning, but you have so much potential here. So you're underestimating yourself, or other people in your life could be underestimating your potential as well. We don't want that. We want them to see how strong and powerful you are. It all begins with a simple conversation, and that really is what the page card is showing us here. Okay? So looking pretty good. And these two are a nice combination here. So the question that you were afraid to ask is, it's probably time to cut a tie with someone or to choose what really makes you happy. And then the way to do that is you're going to have to be the one that suggests it, that takes the action, that really moves it in the right direction. Okay? All right. I'm going to give you a chance to vote on the deck that I'm going to use today. So give me a second to choose some here, and I'll put them on the table first. And I think we had True Art Intuitive, so I'm going to take it out of the mix, because that was here last week. And let me see. Let's see what we can do. All right. I'm going to pull this one out too, and we're going to, let's see what else we can put in this mix. Okay. I feel like we've got some good ones here. So let me pull down the desk here for a second and get my keyboard. And I'm going to give you a poll here, and I'll tell you which ones are which, and I'll show you them here in just a second. So we already used Afro Goddess, which is why I'm taking it out of the mix for a second. Okay, so let's do a poll. All right, so we have the lovely, I can't think of the name right now. Hold on a second. All right, so yes, we have Light Seers. And then we have Spirit? Something about Spirit. Let me see what it is. Spirit Within. And then we have Tarot of the Divine. And then I think that this one is called Field Tarot. Let me double check. I don't always have the deck here. Yeah, the Field Tarot. Great. Okay, so Light Seers, Spirit Within, Tarot, and Field Tarot. So which deck would you like? Okay. For those of you that are laughing at me for not being able to think of the name, I have a lot of decks here, and I don't always have them in the case. So sometimes I have them stacked in a clear case to the side. So that's why. So again, Light Seers is choice number one. And let's just pull this up for a second here. So go to wide view, sorry. So for this one, basically, this is what it looks like. Beautiful images. I was using it just a moment ago. So that's choice number one. Choice number two, Spirit Within. We have all these cool silhouettes. I don't use this deck all the time, but I think it's pretty cool. Tarot of the Divine is a fan favorite here. A retelling of fairy tales, beautiful imagery, really cool palette. I like it a lot. And this is one of my newer decks, the Field Tarot, which is why I had to look. Very cool, symbolic, sort of illustrated approach here instead of your traditional tarot. So I'll give you a second to vote on that. I'm going to grab some more water, and then I'm going to come back, and hopefully we will have a clear winner. While we're doing that, a reminder that the next portion that we're going to be looking at is the special topic. So we're going to be looking at the Celtic cross, and we're going to be looking at how to heal those broken wings. This will be a combination of internal and external healing. All right, so we have a tie. Come on, guys. Spirit Within and Tarot of the Divine. So I am going to, it's winning just by a bit, Spirit Within. So I'm going to end the poll, and I'm going to give it a second, and then if not, I'll take a choice because we have the Two of Swords earlier today, so I'll just choose it if I have to, and we'll go from there. All right. It is a dead tie. All right, so we're going to use Spirit Within because I feel like we don't use it that often. So I'm going to choose the one with the silhouettes because on a lot of my monthlies, I choose the other one. And as I look at your some of the other questions here, if there's anything else like the final card and the some of the other things that we look at today, I'll use that other deck for that. Okay. And I do take them out of rotation for the future, so we'll remember that next time. Okay, let's get started. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera down here, and we're going to take a look at what's coming through here for your topic of choice today. What's cool about this deck is it has shadows and light, and I think that's going to be something that's going to help us today because we need to be able to look at things from both sides, and that's why, as a reader, I chose to go with the Spirit Within. Okay, so give me a moment to lay everything out, and we'll see what the messages are. Pull it out a little bit so you can see it better. All right. I'm glad you guys like the cards that I chose. Sometimes we have to step outside of our comfort zone, so that's why I try to push in some unknown decks. Sometimes we can't always use the same ones. I like these because there's a lot of nice primary colors as well. Thanks again to everybody that's given back with super stickers and super chats. I will say thank you at the end. I forgot to mention that. And again, all of these messages can be used for everybody present. The only portion that was sign specific was what we talked about at the beginning with the earth, air, water, fire, etc. Okay, let's get started here. So we're going to begin with your catalyst card. The catalyst, just to remind you how it functions in my particular spread here, is going to be connected with basically how to kick things off in the right direction, how to have the most potential impact on things. And so when we're looking at mending those broken wings, one of the things that you want to focus on here is making sure that you're okay. So we have Lord Ganesh here. Probably the last day that I use all of these, I usually switch it up. So I love this deck though, because it's really clear on stuff. It says clear your energy. So if there's anything going on in your mind or body, that internal cleanse is going to be the most important thing you could do right now. So this includes eating cleaner. It's about clearing out what's around you physically. It could also be going through your social media and deciding like, I'm not needing to keep in touch with this person as much. This isn't a positive sort of connection. Clearing everything around you. And that clarification is going to just benefit you across the board, okay? And if the card was reversed, so some of you have a little bit of clearing and cleaning to do. Once you do it, it's never fun to clean, right? Even if it's symbolic cleaning. Sometimes we just want something magical to come in. It's kind of like Cinderella, where all the mice and the birds and everything just make things happen. But that's not how it is in real life. We have to kind of roll up our sleeves and do the work. Or like little Apollo in the background, kind of dig in, right? So thank you, Apollo, for teaching us and demonstrating in the background there. All right, so that's what you're going to do. You're going to do a little bit of work, one step at a time, one paw at a time, and see some action happen, okay? Let's move on to the center of your spread. And the center of your spread is actually a pretty auspicious symbol here. So we have the Three of Wands smack dab in the center, which tells me already you're on the right path. It's just a matter of honoring what's in front of you and not second guessing it, okay? So let's pull this up to the camera and talk about it a bit. All right, so with the Three of Wands, sometimes we expect things to take forever. And this card is saying, what if it's already here? What if all you need to do is change your perspective, change where you're looking? Because if you change where you're looking, all of a sudden, like in this direction, there's clear symbols. But right here, if you're just looking down, you're missing it. So you're missing something that's right around the corner. And I always like to encourage people to meet those boats at the dock. Like, don't wait too high up on the cliff. The more you do, the more you kind of show that energy, it's going to start to happen. So just say, yeah, I'm open, I'm ready, I'm willing. Not impatient. You're just sort of like really ready to meet it there. Okay. So looking good. Off the bat, if you're trying to heal, The fact that you decided to heal or mend, that was what was necessary to bring about the best possible outcome. Maybe you've called in a helper, like a doctor, or you've called in some sort of a sign or a signal that's going to lead you to the opportunity that you've been looking for, or the relationship that you've been looking for. But whatever it is that you're looking for, there's a beacon out there, so just keep an open eye. Some of you have a really high bar of excellence for who or what it is that you're pulling in. This is being crossed by the Six of Cups. I like it when you're picky and discerning. That's a good thing, particularly for those of you that might be mending a broken heart. When I put the little teaser images up for today, I did both like a heart and I think I did a bird. But in either way, I would say for this, you want to kind of make sure that you're doing a little bit of both, because in order for you to fly, you need to have that heart in a good space. Six of Cups, best friends, brother, sister, soulmate. These are deep, deep connections. So if you've been looking for someone new in your life, you have a high bar of excellence. You're not looking for something casual or transitional. If we're looking at relationship energy, you're looking for someone who really is in it for the long haul. So in order to have that kind of energy, time and patience, because you could just go walk out and talk to anybody on the street, but you're really looking for the right connection and conduit. So know that being picky means sometimes being patient. But because we manifest with our thoughts, you could tell the universe that you're patient, but you're also open to getting something quicker than you expect. You're ready. You just have to show the universe that you're really, really ready. And that's why I believe that there's already indications of movement happening. So the universe is waiting for you to recognize it, and then you have a happy surprise here. Some good news, a good person, a good energy coming into your life. So as a sort of like how to mend, the energy here is basically, well, you're going to have a friend or someone, and it's a fast friend too. When you meet them, you just realize you have like a shorthand or shortcut in your ways of communication. And I think you're going to be surprised at how good it could be to lean on someone. And when we go back to the energy that we talked about a little bit earlier, when I was looking at the village, is that how this came through? The village card, yeah, it was a reminder of that. So you definitely have that nice sort of village energy available to you if you're ready to receive it, if you're ready to kind of reach out and ask for it. Okay. So we just looked at the center cards here. We're going to move now to the deep past. And in the deep past here, we have, surprise, surprise, the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is also in reverse. And we definitely get that feeling of rest on this one, right? So for some of you, there was a period where maybe you've been working yourself to that point of exhaustion, which we talked about earlier. You must take a break. So in order to mend, I recently had a cut on my finger. It took a long time for it to mend. It's getting there. I no longer need a Band-Aid, but it took like a week and a half. It was a long time. So emotional scars take longer than that, right? Because they're not something that you can just put some disinfectant or put a Band-Aid on, or you need time, and you need to also get yourself to a healthy place. So I feel like some of you have exacerbated it in the past by trying to push yourself too far, too fast, okay? So don't push yourself as much, relax a little bit, and slow it down so that you're not constantly pushing and pushing and pushing. It's like an engine. If you keep going at max speed, it's gonna burn up right at some point. This card indicates that whatever it is that you're trying to kind of create or do, you can do it. I love the Queen of Wands, one of my favorite cards. She's magical, but her magic is in her belief, is in her conviction, is in that sort of ability to focus on bringing her own sort of general energy together. So be the boss and be your own boss. Don't feel like you have to boss other people around, right? Your leadership, your direction, your sort of go-getter attitude is going to be what attracts people to you and also what makes changes happen. Let's take a look at some things that we can all relate to. If it involves a change in diet, no one is going to change that except for you. You're the one that shops at the store. You're the one that puts stuff in the fridge, that puts stuff in the oven or puts it in your mouth. And you have to decide, am I going to change the way I'm eating or the way I'm exercising or the way I allow people to treat me? You are your own best sort of accountability person. You've got to be accountable to you. So boss yourself around and really put it together. And it's like a pep talk. I can do this. We can do this. This is going to happen. Okay. It does show me as well that when it comes to the next big thing in your life, I think you need to have more of a leadership role in it. So one of the healing opportunities here is to realize, not only can I do this, but I will do this. And I'm embracing this newfound power. And it can be sort of unusual to step into that power if you haven't been given a chance before. But these cards are showing me that you should give yourself that chance, because you have everything that it takes to do what you need to do. If we take a quick look at where we're at here in the spread, we just moved through the recent past, and now we have here basically where your headspace is, the crowning card. And we have some interesting partnership energy that's a part of this. So we have Queen of Wands here, and then the King of Wands here. And of course, just a reminder that we also had the Six of Cups energy, which was connecting all of these things together. So let's talk about this. So with respect to the King of Wands, the King of Wands reminds us, when it's in reverse, there's a time and a place to be stubborn. Make sure that you're doing it where and when it makes sense. There could also be someone around you that is kind of encouraging you that, again, it has to be done my way or the highway. You're going to remind them that you have just as much ability to make great things happen. And you're going to choose how much. I feel like for some of you, there's been someone in your life that constantly kind of, there's like a tug of war between who's the boss, right? Why can't you both be co-leading or having your own sort of role in this? And I think that's what these cards are really showing here is, you seem to be a little bit more open-minded. There could be someone around you that's less than that, and you're going to have to try to find a way to help them see it from your perspective. So if that won't work, then you can go into another direction. But I think the main thing here is you don't have to prove who's right, and they have to kind of understand that you can see it from both perspectives. When we take a look at the relationships in a moment, we'll go deeper into that. But I do see in your environment already an indication that it's okay for you to take control. The Devil card is a conditional card, like conditional love, and it's also someone who likes to question your control or your authority. So in this particular instance, you're not going to allow that to happen. And if that is happening, you're going to raise your hand and say no more, right? Okay, so I feel like the main thing here is to own your thoughts, push forward, don't let someone boss you around. And now I see a great energy for future partnership. You know, I did a little bit of a love reading yesterday for an impromptu, but we do have some solid relationship energy coming through here. I'm a little concerned with the Devil. We'll talk about that in a second. But what I do like about this is we see like great friend energy, and we also see great partnership potential coming through here. So when it comes to breaking through to the next thing, you are not alone. I can't underline that enough as I go through this. So definitely reach out, talk to someone else. And if they offer support or help and it is unconditional, by all means, embrace that. Some of you may just have a hard time letting them in, and that can be what the Devil card is about, okay? But I do see for those of you looking for love again, an opportunity. If you're looking for work, an opportunity. The thing with the work component is, and we'll do health, wealth, love, and destiny in a second where I can dig deeper into each of these. But with work, it's going to be in your circle of friends. This is an organic sort of thing that would come about. All right. Gosh, you have so many great relationship cards. It's interesting. We have the Four of Wands here. You're ready. You're ready for something bigger and better. All of you right now, it feels like you're really opening up to this. So like these cards in and of themselves would be amazing. But combined with the Two of Cups, also amazing. So I'm seeing friends and lovers. I'm seeing really solid new foundational relationships that could stand the test of time. But there's something going on around you, and we're going to have to clarify this one. We have the Devil card, and I rarely clarify, but I'm going to on this one. So let's do a clarification of the Devil to see what it's about. Is it about your limitations, or is it about something you need to watch for? So let's do a quick clarification because this is important. Okay, so it's actually more of an internal thing here. But so we have the Magician card, which basically that can do anything that you set yourself up for, you put your mind to. So I like that, but the fact here is that the Magician is reversed. The Magician is also having a hard time picking, choosing, and juggling all the different elements. You would not want to be juggling a sword and a coin and a cup and a wand. This is dangerous. I feel like some of you are overcommitting. So the Devil is about overcommitment. And some of you may actually have the kind of cool thing of having two things that you love equally. So this could be two jobs, two people. There's something going on where you have to make that choice. And that's kind of why I had the Two of Swords coming through for the week ahead. This part of the reading is timeless, but it is also something that you can apply to this week, which we looked at. So you have a difficult choice in front of you. You're going to have to make a choice, is what I see here. Because the magician is most powerful, the magician is most powerful when they choose one element and focus on it. They can pull at the other things, but they have to make a decision and move forward in that, okay? Some other just general notes with the devil in the environment. So the devil card is cautioning you against signing a contract if you're not prepared. It's cautioning you against getting into a partnership if the other person isn't out of the existing one. This includes business partnerships. You want to make sure that that person's free and clear of any obligations that they have and any contractual sort of boundaries that the other business set up for them. And of course, if you're dating someone and they're not out of a divorce or they're still seeing someone, this is a big old red flag. Literally, the card is red and it's saying don't do it. So also, if someone tries to take advantage of your kindness or innocence, you want to be mindful of that. So it's really just being awake and aware when it comes to contracts and engagements like that. And then otherwise, if you're feeling pretty solid with those, you have to make a choice, okay? So because the devil's in the environment, it's avoidable. It's what's around you. And you just have to keep your eye on the prize, what we saw here. Really, what are you trying to do? And I think that's going to be so important. You have good friends. You have good people that you can lean on. So lean on that village. It's there to support you. All right, opportunities. I love what I'm seeing here in the opportunity space. We have the Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles is reversed, but it's still a very positive card. It's basically showing me work well done. The reversal of this can be delayed gratification or delayed accolades coming through. Remember, if I can find the card here, when we were looking at the Queen of Pentacles, she didn't need it. She was comfortable in who she is. She says, I know who I am. I don't need you to tell me that I'm good or I'm bad or whatever. So this is going to be where it's super important. We're going to pull that energy from the Queen of Pentacles and say, yeah, I know who I am, and it would be nice to have that extra support, but I'm going to finish the job that I signed up for. You see the person here painting, slightly more modern version of it. Usually they were kind of like creating an archway. But either way, there's a team there and there's support, but not everybody sees everything and not everyone is involved in it on the same level that you are. So finish what you've started, believe in yourself, and at the end of the day, it's all about the quality. So if you keep the quality where it's at, then you can't go wrong with this. And this is in hopes, fears, and opportunities. So keep the quality. Some of you, to mend your wings, have decided to start a new path, to go back to school, to take an apprenticeship, to get the appropriate training that you need. And I think that that's going to be amazing. So if you want to do that, do it. Keep your mind on that though. And don't worry so much about what other people think. You're too young, you're too old, you're too this, you're too that. There's always going to be someone throwing judgment or casting shade on something. And you're going to choose to look beyond that and get back into the core, which is, I'm doing this because I know that I want to do it and I know where this is going to lead, okay? And if you think that, then maybe you're not truly my friend. You're not sharing the same vision. There are plenty of people that will and can support you. Let's move on to the final, well, not the final card, but the outcome card in this particular spread, and it's the Emperor card in reverse. The Emperor is holding another, we got a lot of Ankh symbols here again for eternal life, for that immortality. So you can survive anything whenever I see the Ankh, that's one thing. And as we're looking at this card in reverse, it's about taking a hands-on / active role, making sure that you're not sort of just sitting on the bleachers or you're not sitting on your throne, as this card would show. You're going to get involved. And that's actually what we saw with possibilities. It's teamwork that makes it all happen. Teamwork. You have so many cards here of teamwork and partnership. So definitely get involved and get people involved in the right way. And you're going to be able to kind of move through whatever challenges you have with aplomb, without any sort of issues. Okay, let's move on to your expanded forecast here, where we look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Whenever I'm doing it in the special topic portion, which is what we're still looking at, it's going to take on a different light. I'm just going to look at how your health affects your ability to mend your wings, how what kind of opportunities around you could lift you up, how the relationships could benefit you, your overall sort of trajectory as well. All right. So looking at your health card here, we have trustworthy friends. It's a great energy here. So it says, thank you, angels, for surrounding me with people that I can trust and that I can love. And that's what I feel like I've been beating that drum this whole time here. So lean on the ones that you really can trust and really support you, and then spend a little less time and energy with the other ones. And this is what will make you healthier and happier, since this was in the health place. So if there's anyone in your life that doesn't make you feel healthy or happy, it's time to evaluate that and either work on the relationship with them or release that relationship. It's often a sort of gift, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment, when we realize that this person isn't the one, or they're causing some difficulties. Specifically looking at some health messages, what I see the most opportunity for kind of cleaning up is in the environment here, because we have the devil in the environment, and the devil is basically asking you to really look at what's going on around you and make sure that if you've had a glass ceiling, if you can't kind of get where you need to, this card is sort of saying, like, this is your time to get past that glass ceiling or that sort of wall and make sure that you can really reach your highest possible potential. Someone in your life is afraid of you getting to that next level. Don't let their fear impede your ability. Don't let your lack of focus also impede that. So this can, if you hate your job or if you are unhappy in one element of your life, you remember I had that three of swords a little bit earlier, and that is reminding us that when we don't allow ourselves to be truly happy, to be truly who we are, then it starts to kind of manifest in your health. So that's the only thing that could be holding you back there. This can also be a bad habit. So eating too much, drinking too much, smoking too much, etc., etc. I should say, I'll put it up in a second, standard disclaimer applies when I'm looking at health. It's always important for you to focus on going to that proper expert and listening to your body, because I'll put my disclaimer up here. For each and every person, what's healthy is going to be different, and you should always lean on a doctor for that kind of stuff. But looking at the energy of the cards here, it's going to be important for you to get past anything that you know better than. The devil is usually something where it's like, I know better than doing this, but I keep doing it. So how can we stop you from doing that? That's what you want to focus on. The other thing with health, I'm seeing a lot of stationary cards. So we have a king here, we have another king here, the emperor. So too much, for some of you, too much sitting and not enough activation of hips, knees, legs, feet. So really work on the lower extremities and make sure that you're stretching them. Otherwise, your cards are pretty good, I have to say. Sleep deprivation, getting past any sort of bad habits, those are the main messages that come through. And not being afraid to lean on the friends as you need them, because you got friends, and more friends here. And a teamwork card here as well, okay? So that's that portion of the forecast. That was health. We're going to move along next to wealth. That's the next thing that we look at. Wealth is not just money. It's also taking a look at self-worth. It's also looking at how you're approaching the opportunities on the horizon around you. So your specific card regarding wealth is Krishna, devotion. It says, trust your spiritual guidance. Your commitment has been recognized. You are loved unconditionally. So when you love yourself, other people are capable of stepping in and loving you as well. If you can't love yourself, nobody else is going to step in and make that happen for you. Devotion. So do you love what you're doing? Are you truly, mind, body, and spirit, devoted and committed to it? If you are, fantastic, we see great things happening. If you aren't, then there is sort of this like wake-up call that's going to have to happen here. So let's look at the general cards here when we're looking at your wealth messages. So first of all, 3 of Wands and 3 of Pentacles are so positive. I really like what we're seeing with this. So I see a really nice thing on the horizon for you when it comes to wealth and activities and opportunities in front of you. So keep your eye on that prize. I see so many helpful hands here between the 6 of Cups, the 2 of Cups, and the 4 of Wands. I see some limitations for you in overcommitting, saying yes to everything. If your boss wants 5 different things and you know you can only do 2, don't commit to all of them. Ask for prioritization. If you are promised things and they don't come through, you can find something better somewhere else. So don't accept the limits. Push past those limits and really look at a place where you can get a little bit more for what you have to offer. And I do feel like rest overall is going to be so important for you. But but actually it's a beautiful, if you felt like you've been held back or you haven't been getting what you wanted before, the limit mostly can be in your head, and it is just about figuring out, what do I want? We have to ask very clearly the universe for what it is we're looking for. Otherwise, you just get thrown a lot of stuff, and it's like pasta on the wall. Something will stick. So be discerning when it comes to that, and ask yourself, like Krishna was asking here, do you truly love this? And if you don't, why are you doing it? Money is not enough. Money can be a part of it, but it can't be the only piece. So if you hate everything else about it, find another place that pays you equally, that you like more. There has to be some heart-centered connection to it, okay? For love, we have third eye activation, brow chakra, inner vision, clear seeing. So you will be able to suss out or sort out what's going on with love and relationships right off the start. And I believe that too, based on the cards that we were seeing, particularly if you have a connection that is the Six of Cups. I've been fortunate in when I was younger, not as much as an adult. It's harder to find these people, but typically when I meet someone that I know is going to be a future best friend, it doesn't have to be like passionate romance. This can be like best friends where they feel like a sister or a brother. I typically know on the first meeting, like you just hit it off and you think, I need to. Back in the day, you would get someone's telephone number. Nowadays, you probably would just say, are you on Instagram or whatever? So this is a great opportunity for you to trust that initial spark. And the spark can be friendship, business partnership, or it can be love. Because I look at relationships kind of like with that overarching vision. I like to say love with a capital L, or R with relationships with a capital R. It's a bigger sort of version. It's not just about who you love. So what I'm seeing right here is that like you'll know it when you see it. So we're going to break it down now. Look at those of you in a key relationship, looking for a key relationship, or unattached and just curious. So let's turn the camera down at this point and we'll look at the cards and see how they relate to these different points of view. For those of you already partnered up, one of the great things here is it feels like you've made some great headway together here with the Three of Wands. And I see a lot of really great energy here too about kind of just getting back to where you started from. You may also be looking at opening up your circle of friends, because when you're in a partnership, sometimes that just the two of you energy can be a little exhausting. So this could be about, doing sort of like a night, a party, creating a party environment, double dating, doing something where you're just trying to kind of expand the circle, but together. And I like that. The thing that kind of looks like it could be an impasse for present relationships, and you're showing up as partners, which is great, is one person's open-minded, one person's very closed-minded. One person isn't listening to the other. This is going to create some chaos. The good news is we see a resolution happening, but if this continues, and if one party is kind of in their own world too long, then it gets a little tricky, and we don't want that. We don't want that to get in the way. So this is a potential block, but not a necessary block. It also feels like money and work are taking a kind of center stage here, not so much. I feel like it really is self-improvement when we look at the Three of Pentacles. So maybe one of you wants to focus a little bit more on going back to school or something like that. And this is saying, yeah, do it. This is a really great and cooperative energy for that, okay? So I really like what I see here. Maturity and open-mindedness could get in the way of things kind of going in the direction that you want them to. So try not to let that happen. Try to stay open-minded, and I think you're going to be okay. For those of you that might be looking for love, we want to go back to the message from Lord Ganesh, which is basically saying to clear your energy. So with clearing your energy, I think the important thing here, as we look at the past, some of you were in that kind of workaholic energy where you feel like you have to go, 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 go. The partner may be a little bit more relaxed, and you're going to have to find a way to sort of balance yourself out on that. What I like about this is you have a lot of choices. Again, Six of Cups, Two of Cups, Four of Wands. But cleaning up your energy is important because there's something here that's holding you back. There could be something that's holding them back. So for new relationships, I think you really want to get to know the person before you get too far. There's no reason to rush. These are courtship cards, Six of Cups and Two of Cups. Take your time. Go out to dinner. Have some fun. Do some different things to really get to know the person so that you know what you're getting into, okay? So that's what we see here, is not to rush it. And I think as long as you're not rushing things, you're going to be okay. even in existing relationships, there could be a secret or a revelation that sort of comes and sees the light of day. The Magician card is asking, what are we going to do about this? How are we going to work on it? This is a card of working on it. So trust that you're going to be able to get past that. And I think you have good days ahead if you do that. Third eye activation. You know what? You have a really good nonsense filter, or that's the word I'm going to use instead. A good nonsense filter that's coming through. If someone's telling you something that doesn't seem right, it's not right. Trust in what you're being told. Because I feel like based on the devil card that we were seeing here, you're absolutely going to be able to sort out fact from fiction, okay? And that's the important thing. If you're single and happy, when I'm looking at the Three of Pentacles here, I really feel like that has to do with self-improvement and prioritizing that. You're gonna have some distractions. Guess what? All of these great cards, I'm not surprised that there is this temptation to let this go. So for anybody that is trying to finish up a task, whether it's writing a book, going back to school, learning a trade or sort of expertise, you got to finish what you've started. If it's truly the one, if it's the Six of Cups energy that we see here, they'll not only wait, but they'll probably champion whatever it is that you're doing, okay? So that's how you want to focus on relationship energy in the month ahead, and hopefully that helped you out. All right, so we're going to move on to the final card here, which is Vishnu, and Vishnu is coming through as destiny, which I see as a malleable sort of card, and it says balance is necessary. I wish we all had all of those like 4 arms and hands. It would be amazing. But we don't. And the balance energy absolutely came through here on the Magician card, right? Too many things, too many opportunities. Set your instincts, set your sights, set your priorities, and then you're going to see rapid movement and manifestation. Your ships are coming in. A great person is there to kind of help you out. You're not alone. So the only thing that could hold you back is this. I really feel like it was good that we clarified it, because you could be getting yourself into trouble by over-promising and under-delivering, okay? So there you go, some really great stuff. What I want to do now is move on to the big idea. And the big idea for me is a card that kind of like encapsulates everything that we've talked about thus far. So big idea, single card, one big message, any additional advice that we might have. So let's see what your big idea is for today. This is really the answer to the question when I'm looking at this, this part of the reading. So let's take a look and see what the answer is to this particular question. Question again being, how can you mend a broken wing? How can you mend internally or externally? And let's see maybe with this card, is the focus internal or external? Wow, we actually got a balance card here for this one too. And it does feel like it's more of an internal thing, but justice in reverse is about saying no. It's plain and simple, it's about moving beyond something that doesn't feel right. So in your heart and soul, you know absolutely what it is that you need to do. And this particular card is encouraging you to take that step in the right direction. So here we have Justice Reverse. It's one of the few times when I'm looking at a card that the answer is easy for me. It's just a matter of putting your foot down and saying this works or this doesn't. And once you've made that decision, things are going to go in the right direction. So I'm encouraging right now to take that step in the right direction. And once you do that, things are going to start to really feel a lot better for you. It can also be about making sure that if something wasn't right, let's say someone acted in a way that wasn't acceptable, or something was just not going the way that you wanted it to go. This is about making sure that you're setting the expectation for what works for you, for what's right for you, okay? So definitely feel free and empowered and supported to say an emphatic no if you need to. And then from this point forward, don't be afraid of kind of setting that bar high. So the confidence that we were talking about earlier definitely plays a key role here. Being confident, having conviction, and consistently saying yes or no to what it is that you need to do, so that they're not sort of thinking that you're kind of going back and forth, right? All right, so let's talk about what's coming up next. So I always like to kind of go back to our overall forecast. So We have gone through just about everything. We're going to move on to the final portion. I have a final card at the end that I'm going to read for you, and this final card will be a chance for you to get one last detail. So I've done my best to help you with mending and clearing and seeing what's available to you this week, but I'm sure you have another question for me. I don't take questions live, but I do look at that answer collectively, so just meditate on it in just a moment. I try not to ask too often, but first of all, you can find out more about me on my social media platforms. Here they are. Nicholas Ashbaugh on just about everything except Twitter. If you'd like to really show some support and make my day, hit the thumbs up once. And if you've never subscribed, by all means, subscribe. I've noticed that I've seen the numbers dip a little bit, and that's really, it hurts the health of the channel when that happens. So one thing that you can do, I don't know why like 70% of the people that watch don't subscribe. So make my day, hit the subscribe, help this grow. And if you like weekend collectives like this, when it's done, leave a comment and share it on your social media platforms so that more people can discover it. That's a great way to give back. And again, you can support me with a super sticker or super chat. I'll say thank you afterwards. More information on my schedule is here. All right, let's talk about this next portion of the reading. Like I said, we're going to do a meditation and sound bath. The meditation's pretty quick. I know that people drop off, but try to stick around. It's 2 minutes, and then you get to hear your final question. That's my reward for everyone sticking around. So just a couple of notes here. I'm going to first give you a chance to vote for what you want me to use. I have a crystal pyramid, and I have a singing bowl. Either one is fine, so choose the instrument. And you have a chance to vote on that while I'm talking. All right, for the meditation today, we're going to work on becoming that thunderbird that I talked about, that mythological creature at the beginning. And if you can't picture it, just see like a beautiful eagle or something in your mind or in your heart. Pick whatever bird that you like that's just really large, really powerful, really capable of creating change. And we're going to use that to get you into your power center. So close your eyes for a moment. I want you to see yourself as like the queen or the king of the mountain, sitting at the very top on your own little throne and looking out at the world around you. And then I want you to stand up and stretch out your arms. Taking a really deep breath, feeling your heart open up, pushing out your chest cavity, allowing for that oxygen to go in. And on the exhale, imagine that you could push out, and it would take the form of a cloud, any sort of energy that you don't need in your life anymore. As a big puff of smoke or a big, beautiful, puffy cloud, keep inhaling and exhaling until you're pushing those clouds into the sky, and then you're pushing those clouds beyond where you're at. Inhaling, exhaling until your mind, body, and spirit is clear and as clean as the blue sky above you. And as you reach out your arms, imagine that there's these beautiful feathers and wings that are energetically forming in the place of your arms. And you could see yourself shifting into the bird of your choice, whether it's a thunderbird, a phoenix, an eagle, a hawk, or some other sort of mythic creature. It doesn't matter to me. Just imagine what that is and embody that creature. And as you look out at the horizon, I want you to feel like in this moment in time, you're going to have no more limits. The limits are gone. The potential, the capacity for growth is basically the world is your oyster, as we saw earlier. So you don't have to kind of like focus on where you're going or what's happening. I want you instead to sort of think, I can do it, I am capable, I am ready. And setting these sort of mantras into place will help you. You can go a step further if you're ready. But if you're not, just get ready to receive love and abundance in the highest forms. That's a common sort of mantra that I like to put out there, and I think it's one that will help all of you today. Okay. So it looks like we're going to use the singing bowl by a narrow margin. So let me grab that, and everybody just get ready while I'm getting prepared here. All right, as you start to take flight, I just want you to enjoy the energy of moving. Imagine that there are no limits, that you are going to be A-okay, that you're absolutely prepared and ready and capable of moving forward without any problems. So just enjoy, relax, and let's see where your meditation takes you. Imagine that things are going to get easier, that today and tomorrow are going to be better than the day before, that the universe could surprise you in a positive way, that the only limits that you place are the limits upon yourself. Keep that sense of an open heart and an open mind. Carry that with you in each and everything that you do. Find yourself a way back to your heart, to your soul. Imagine that you're going to be flying into the heart center when you come back into your body to rejoin. On the next exhale, I want you to open your eyes. You can rub your hands together to pull your energy back into your body. And let's move along to the final card. Final card, for those of you that are new, is just a chance for you to ask me a question silently in meditation, and we'll see where that takes you. Okay, it's a lesson that we actually saw in the week ahead. So I believe this was on Monday, right? So on Monday, we had the Five of Swords energy coming through. So there's a lot of little nuances with this. It's not a simple yes-no. So if you were asking me a yes-no question, it's going to really require you to dig deeper and think, what do I have to gain or lose with this opportunity in front of me? And you have to look at the sort of the trade-off associated with it. So if the trade-off is worth what you want to do, then do it. So sometimes we have to, you're willing and ready to burn a bridge in order to get to the other side and move on, because it's not something that you want to return to. There could also be a kind of encouragement for you to just get a little bit more information. So if you're looking to negotiate like a contract or make a big decision, it feels to me like there could still be a better party or a better opportunity. Five of Swords is by no means the best option. You can navigate through it, but remember what your big idea was. You can say no to something if you don't want it. You can ask for things to be balanced if they're imbalanced. So stand up for what is right and decide. You can cut losses in both the Five and the Seven of Swords. It's just a choice. So you have to choose what feels right. You can fight if you want to fight. You can burn a bridge if you want to burn a bridge, but there could be an easier way. And that's what this card is showing me, particularly since at the heart of your spread, we had the Three of Wands. So I'd love for you to kind of look at the difficulty and the challenge associated with a particular path and see if it's necessary. You and only you can make that decision, but that's the sort of trade-off that I'm looking at here. Okay? So there you go. So I hope that you enjoyed that. And there we go. I see some interesting comments here, but hopefully you enjoyed the singing bowl and everything like that. If anyone's having any connection issues, by the way, you just have to refresh. I would usually get a notification on my end, so just hit the refresh. It's all going to be available on replay. That's the good news if you did have an issue. So thanks for letting me know, but it looks like it's just one person, and my moderators usually text me. Okay? So if you're watching on a cell phone or your router's old, you just have to hit that reboot sometimes. Okay, so a couple of quick notes before we get into the thanks and gratitude portion. Again, hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow me on social media, and it helps as well. You'll be able to know when new readings are coming through, so it's more of a help for you too. And for all that have given back, I do appreciate that. And more information here on my website. Let's move to the fun part now, which is just a chance for me to say thank you. First of all, thank you to anybody that's brand new. It's always good to have new faces in the room, and I'd love to kind of continue to grow this channel, so please share the word if you're brand new. Thanks to all my longtime subscribers. I know a lot of you have been with me for like 7 years, so thank you for that long journey. It's good to see you, and thank you for kind of seeing the growth all along the way. If you're a supporting member or Patreon, I'm going to say thank you in just a second, but I'll say it right now to the existing ones. Thank you for all that you do. Thanks to Dakota and Maria for doing a great job as well. And now I'm going to take a moment to give some extra gratitude to anybody that happened to join as a member today, or perhaps that gave back in the form of super stickers. So we'll start with the memberships first. Anybody that joined, again, in the past 12 hours or so, I'll call out here. So it looks like we have Newberry Lisa, I think. Thank you so much. I think a lot of these other people may have actually joined yesterday or rejoined yesterday. I think Newberry is the main one from today, but just in case anybody did join this morning, also thank you to Melissa, Deshonda, Parul, Dina, Lucy, and Friar Chick, Daisy, Z, Krista, Destiny. I think all of these were from the other day, but I just want to call you out just in case to be safe. All right, for those that gave back in the form of a super sticker or super chat, I'm just going to say a quick thank you. Doesn't matter what amount, I do appreciate it. So in advance, I just want to say thanks. Ria, thank you so much for kicking things off today, Ria Coleman. Big thanks to Charlene Fox. I appreciate the 50. Also, big thanks to Tina Cuevas for the 50 as well. Let's see, Institutionalized 88. Thank you so much. Rita Zavala, Hazel, let's see, Cathlis, Christina D. I can't say the rest of the name, but I'll just say Christina D. Thank you so much. Ingrid Bergman, TC, Stephanie Graham, Annette Yu, Cathlis again. Thank you so much. Suzanne Flo, Mercathia, thank you very much. Welcome back. Julissa Garabay, Heather Raposa, Kathy Aram, Wendy Wright. Lots of familiar faces and names here, so I appreciate that. God's Masterpiece, Maria Barbosa, Melanie Schaefer, Yas, Lorna Smith, Malika, twice in a row, thank you so much. You're following D, Marushia, thank you so much. Cathlis, Kathy Smith, Ms. Moses, Crystal McKnight, Jeannie Hart, and Yvette Sanchez. Thank you so much. Lots of familiar faces there. I do appreciate you coming back time and again. It really does help. Special thanks here again to April, who just gave. I just saw that. Thank you. And I think I caught everybody. So I hope you enjoyed today's reading. I don't think I pinned the comment. I normally do that at the beginning. I was so busy making sure Apollo got his walk that I forgot. So I'm going to put it up at the end. So here's a link to my website. And to get more information about who I am, what I do, what's coming up, you can find it all there. And let me see if I have a link to the schedule for this week. I do indeed. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and put a link to the upcoming forecast. Just a quick note that here's what I'm reading this week. I have the link for Libra already up. I'll make sure that I get Scorpio and Sagittarius up later today so you can set reminders. Libra is Monday, Scorpio is Thursday, Sagittarius is Friday. All of them are at 9 a.m. Pacific time. I'll be back again for the collective on Sunday, and we'll be wrapping up the rest of the signs next week, looking at Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. So please join me if you can this week. You can watch any and all of my readings for all your different placements, and you can always show up if you just need a little bit of love, support, or guidance. Take care of yourselves. Have a great rest of the weekend and a good week ahead. Appreciate you all. Have a great one. And thanks again to Maria and Dakota for their help. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.